Hello, everyone, and welcome to Evolve. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. We have a very important episode tonight, so I want you guys to stay with me. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode. You know, you're always welcome here at Evolve. This is the place that builds one another up. Share your opinions, your thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and your feelings, where you're never outcast for being who you are. So welcome. I know it's been a while since we last greeted, one another, and I was waiting for the New Year season to start, but I felt I needed to do an updated episode since next month is January, and that month is National Human Trafficking Prevention Month. So I wanted to do an episode, from here onward, and, I'll bring topics to discuss or topics that I speak about. So with saying that, I won't do a news headlines on this episode, but I will ask, if everyone, can, please, let's keep those in Gaza in all our prayers. If we could do that, thank you. This information provided in this podcast does not and is not intended to constitute legal advice. Instead, this podcast takes full responsibility for its own content shared. This podcast may offer links to other sites, thereby enabling you to leave this site and go directly to the linked site. This podcast is not responsible for the content of any linked site. Such links are for the convenience of the user, potential victim, or individuals. The links are provided to aid and assist those in an unsafe situation or environment. This podcast isn't responsible for loss or damages or misinformation provided from those links shared. All shared links resources have been validated by the site provider. This episode, I wanted to do an updated show on human trafficking prevention and awareness. This information is being brought to you by experiences, training, and courses taken and shared with you in this episode. As some of you may know, next month is January. It's Human Trafficking Prevention and Awareness Month. Some may know what is human trafficking and others may not. In this episode, I'd like to educate you by sharing awareness. This industry is a $132 billion industry. You may have many questions and haven't been able to have your answers clarified. Well, that is what this episode will provide you. The most questions, one particular question that was asked, many are talking about grooming and what is a groomer. So we'll be talking about that in this podcast. So let's begin. First off, I wanted to, answer a question. What is human trafficking? Recruiting or transporting one forcefully to perform some type of sexual act, including holding one hostage against their will, forcefully engaging them to do some type of sexual act in exchange for money. Who is at risk of being trafficked? Anyone can be at risk. There is no discrimination on who can be trafficked. Today, all individuals, man, woman, or child, can be trafficked or exploited. So where likely are individuals trafficked or harbored? Hotels, spas, restaurants, industrial warehouses, homes, home health aid agencies, and almost anywhere the trafficker can entice and harbor victims. So what is grooming? And can I befriend someone and they be grooming me at the same time? Grooming is the practice of preparing or training someone for a particular purpose or activity. Also, the actions or behaviors used to establish an emotional connection with a person, such as a minor and sometimes the individual's family, to make ease with the victim or victims. This can happen in any setting, including online, in person, and through other means of a connection. This is how the groomer, use this tactic to manipulate and gain trust over the victim. And then ending up becoming, the victim becoming abused or exploited. So, yes, a person can befriend you, with grooming intentions in mind. A groomer's main goal is to manipulate the victim so that he or she, the groomer, has control over the victim. It could be telling lies or telling the victim, the person closest to them is trying to hurt them. This one is very tricky, this one, because grooming. This is a technique that almost all groomers or traffickers use to gain an emotional connection with their potential victim or victims. And anyone can be a groomer, no matter their age, gender, or race. They can be a groomer. So what are the signs in grooming both a child and an adult? A, gaining trust and access to the victim by those of their immediate family members. Like if the family members or the friends don't know what's going on, the groomer, will try to, go to the family member or their friends and try to be friends to them and, be nice to them so that they could get to the victim. When the family member and the friends may disclose, hey, do whatever the groomer wants them to do just to have access to that victim. All the while, they don't even know what is taking place. So, and B, playing a role in the individual's life. Playing a role, boyfriend, girlfriend, lover, teacher, whatever role they may play, they will play that role to get to the victim. Isolating the victim. When your child is becoming isolated, because the groomer or the trafficker will isolate them, have them isolated in a house or somewhere, or a closet or somewhere. Any place that can isolate or harbor their victim, they will do it. And D, secrecy around the relationship with the victim. No one knows about the relationship. No one knows at all about this, the relationship with the person. Lying about the relationship. And E, initiating sexual contact, talking about it, watching porn, sending nude pictures, inappropriate touching or feeling on the victim. And F, controlling the relationship. They're just in control of the relationship. They don't want you to go anywhere or don't want you to have friends or anything. They just want control over the relationship as well as the victim. And G, threatening you. They were threatening to harm you, or if you've shared personal information with them, something very private or personal, they will threaten you by sharing that information with others. And H, unwelcoming, showing up to your gathering or events or house unannounced. They will show up at almost anywhere, just so they could have access to the victim, or know the whereabouts. So those are some of the signs in grooming both the child that the groomer will use to when grooming your child or an adult. To groom a child or an adult, I should say. What are the risks that my child or loved one is being groomed? A, changes in their behavior. They may spend less time away from family members or friends. B, spending too much time online, being secretive about where they are spending their time. And C, getting gifts, big or small. Those are all risks. And pay attention, to your child or your loved one. So I'm much older. Can I be groomed by a younger person? The answer is yes. Groomers are predators. They don't care who they make their victim. And remember that. They don't care who they victimize. Will grooming lead me into being trafficked? It can very well lead you into a trafficking relationship with the trafficker. They use this tactic to gain trust. The grooming process draws the victim away from their homes or to gain trust from young victims who may have run away or who are just vulnerable. Be careful in your relationships. Some have been portrayed as a girl or boyfriend and then led them to the trafficker. Remember, their goal is to be the sweetest and not noticeable to, of their intentions of what they're set out to do, and that is to victimize. Yes, even a girl or boyfriend who said they loved you could very well have played their role to lead you on that path as well. You want to be very, 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 very careful. So how do you recover from both grooming and human trafficking? First, you must realize that it wasn't your fault. Abusers groom and manipulate their victims to believe that they caused or deserve the sexual abuse. As adults, forgive yourself, place the blame on the abuser and not yourself. Although grooming is very scary, a crime hasn't been committed yet. It's mainly a way to train the person for the activity, and possibly the grooming, does not end up, all grooming does not end up in abusive situations. But human trafficking is a crime and can be reported immediately. Grooming victims still have a chance to get away from their predator. So what is the number to the National Human Trafficking Hotline? How soon can I get help? Will it be a live person? Will the person be a trained advocate? The number to the National Trafficking Hotline is 1-888-373-7888 or 233-733. Text HELP or INFO. Again, 1-888-373-7888 or 233-733. Text HELP or INFO. You are able to get help, and the person you speak with is a live person and can give you clear, detailed information on how to proceed, in getting yourself safe. For additional information, please see previous episodes 1 and 2, the description. This podcast episode is only providing you resources and helping you to get help, to have an advocate or human trafficking prevention specialist get you to plan and leave safely, with only wanting the outcome to be a positive one for the victims seeking these resources. If you or someone you know is in need of these resources, please don't hesitate to help or call today. You're worth the peace which comes to those leaving an abusive relationship. So, if you have any questions or concerns about any podcast any episodes on this podcast, please don't hesitate. Or if you'd like to be a guest or have a topic suggestions, please don't hesitate to email evolvetopics@gmail.com. This is Tia Londa. I'd like to say thank you for listening, and don't forget to spread awareness next month and every day as we fight to end human trafficking.